Hi everyone, as you know, PlanetScale are getting rid of their hobby tier. This change started from April the 8th. That means if you were in hobby tier, now your database will just go into sleep. It will not work anymore. I have a side project that was running on PlanetScale's hobby tier, and now I need to migrate it to another service to keep it running. And my next service is going to be Turso. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can migrate from PlanetScale to Turso using Drizzle ORM in your Next.js application or whichever application you're using. To start with, first things first, is just make sure that you have Turso actually installed in your system. You can use this guide to install Turso. The way to check if you have Turso installed in your system is if you just do turso-v, you should see something here. Once Turso is set up, you can use their CLI to create the database, or you can use their dashboard. I'm going to show you how to go through their dashboard to create a database. You go to database, create a new database. I'm gonna name it after my project, so generate.description. And London is my nearest location, so let's go with that. So I'm gonna refresh. You can see that a database is created. Okay, that's great. Now here you can see the URL of the database, and also you can generate a token for your database. Once we have created the database, we need to add the database URL and the database auth token in our environment variables. I'm going to add these in my Drizzle config file for tutorial purposes, but these should be in your environment variables, which are located in your env.local file. So I'm going to do const database underscore URL is equal to, let's go ahead and copy this. Copy the database link in speech marks, paste that. And the next thing that we're going to get is our database token. So now let's generate a token for our database. Keep on never, or you can give it a time when it expires. I'm going to delete this database at the end because of this tutorial. So you generate the token. And once you've generated your token, you can copy it, go back to the code and paste it. Now we have our database URL and our database token. Now, another thing that we need to do in our Drizzle config is come here and change this to Turso, because that is what we're using now. For PlanetScale, you had to use all of these keys, but all we need to do for PlanetScale is add different fields. Let's look at what those fields are. Go to Drizzle, and it's just the URL and auth token. So URL is going to be database URL, and auth token is going to be database token. Now that's done, and we can exit out of our Drizzle config file. You can also see in our Drizzle folder, we have previously generated schema. This schema is no longer relevant because this schema is for MySQL, but we're going to be moving on from MySQL into SQLite because that's what Turso uses. So I'm just going to delete these. There we go. Now let's actually come to our schema file after configuration is done. And as you can see, all of your Drizzle schema currently is in MySQL table if you are using PlanetScale. And we need to convert all of this to SQLite. Luckily, in my case, I was just using PlanetScale for authorization and stuff, only with a slight minor change. So all I have to do is I have to go to Drizzle and copy their auth schema for SQLite. So if I copy this, and if I was to delete all of this and paste it, and now all of my tables are in SQLite tables. That's all done. Although I do need to make a slight difference to my table. I just need to add a credits field to my users because of my SAS. So that's integer. The name of the column is credits, and the default will be 1. And there you go. I'm going to save that file. And now we have our new schema. Now that we have set up our configuration and we've generated our schema, we've updated our schema. Now let's actually open up a terminal, generate the schema of this new file that we've created. So npx drizzle kit generate. Now, previously we would put here MySQL, but since it's SQLite, we'll put SQLite. Click enter on that. And you can see in our Drizzle folder, a new schema has been created. Now we need to push this to our remote database. So for that, you do npx drizzle kit push : SQLite. And there we go. We're getting module not found. So upon further looking, you can see that it says cannot find package libsql client. This is another thing we actually have to install in our project. So we do npm install at libsql/client. Wait for that to get installed. Once the package is installed, now let's actually try it again. npx drizzle kit push :SQLite. And voila, we've actually pushed our schema into our remote database. To confirm that this has actually happened, go to your Turso dashboard, click on your generated database. If we go on edit tables, we've actually created those tables. Everything is working as expected. The cool thing about using Drizzle is that you don't have to change anything else in your project because all your SQL queries are still working. One final thing that is left is go to database index.ts where you actually initiate your database. And as you can see, we're currently using the PlanetScale Connect. We don't actually need to use this anymore because we're not using PlanetScale. So what you do is you use create client from the package that we just installed, which is going to be at libsql client. There we go. And we also are not using PlanetScale serverless Drizzle. We're actually going to be using libsql Drizzle. Change this import to libsql. Here, we actually need to use create client from the libsql client. Now we can delete all of this again, all your configuration here. And all that you need to put here is, again, your URL, which is going to be in your environment variables. And auth token is going to be database_token. But as you know, I didn't actually put these in my environment variables. I actually put them here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it here and I'm going to paste these here. This is what I'm going to use. But again, I suggest that you actually put these in your environment variables. I'm just not going to do that in this tutorial. Oh, did I misspell that? Oh yeah, this is actually database. There we go. Now everything should work. We've created a new client using libsql. We've pushed our schema. We have our tables here. Now, if I go to my project locally and I try to log in, everything should work. To prove this, if I go to my database, click on edit tables, go on users. As you can see, currently I have no users. However, if I go through the journey and actually log in, sign in with Google, and I logged in using my email, it's fob.io@gmail.com, and I was successfully able to be logged in. Now, if I refresh, you can see that I've actually registered, I've been registered here. That means my app is fully working with the Turso database. And that is how you actually migrate from PlanetScale to Turso. So yeah, the main thing that you guys have to be careful about is you need to update your schema using SQLite table. In my case, it was quite simple because I just used the Drizzle standard configuration for authorization. But in your case, you might actually have to update it if you have actually created some tables manually. That was it. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you want to learn anything more, or if I didn't cover anything properly, just let me know and I can talk about that as well. Thank you for watching. Bye.